All right. Well, then that ought to do
Damascus
it.
Eternali, thank you so much. Everybody else, come hang out. We're going to go hang out on our YouTube channel. Give us a few minutes to get all that set up. And
It's
we'll
going
over
now.
there.
It's done. We are live streaming on YouTube now. Love you too, Alder. Thank you so much, Damascus.
Wherever you are. Love you, Damascus.
Hey, thank you guys. Love you guys too. I'm heading over to YouTube with you.
Awesome. Right. Excellent.
We'll send y'all a link here in chat in a minute.
Truth Frequency Radio is your #1 source for news and information without the hate.
All right.
Holy shit. Okay, you got to give me a second to go, coffee and bathroom.
No, that's fine. We can fill.
All right, give me a second.
Yeah, I got to take a piss.
Yeah, all right, hang on.
That's fine. I need to go ahead and change all the stuff anyway. It's still loaded up from last week.
Am I saying all that on YouTube?
Yeah. We're live.
Damn it. Hi, YouTube.
There's nobody watching.
All right, good.
Oh, nope, there's Stan. There's Ryan.
All right.
They're all loading up now. Oh, yeah, I could probably turn on the camera now.
Yeah, good morning. Give us a second. We just came straight from a show, 2 hours, and, nature calls and coffee and things. Give me a second.
Yeah, it is still relatively early. And I still need to change all this stuff here. Let's see. What can I do?
Yeah, it's 3:58 here in Arizona.
That's pretty early.
I haven't even been asleep yet.
You stayed up for this? That's
insane.
Man.
I was so excited.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you did.
Yeah, man. I wanted to get into this stuff a lot earlier into the show, but there was a lot to cover, and I guess
it was perfect. Give me a second.
I kind of just needed to introduce myself to everyone a little bit,
Oh yeah, I know exactly how that is.
Salamo's already got the link in the chat, so
get my real crazy out there.
Thanks. Well, you guys go do what you need to do. We may have to sit here in silence for a little bit as I adjust the title and the description and all that good stuff, so it's not continuously with our last week's show.
Right, with
There's Alan, there's Liz.
All right, I hear the news. Oh, I still must be in chat. Hang on.
All right. Well, then maybe I will just play a little the original theme music, because that's like 5 minutes. That's some time. That's good. We'll just see what happens here. Look at how that works. Well, then don't mind us, folks. We're just going to sit here and adjust stuff, find our footing, considering we just went off the air on TFR. So we'll spend a couple minutes resetting and adjusting things here. So forgive the silence, hence the music. Well, maybe that worked. I don't know. We'll see. I'm still apparently having issues via YouTube. OBS is showing green and everything's strong, but YouTube is showing me issues.
Energies must be a little too high.
Something.
Hmm.
I'm not sure. Walter, you say you're back? Is that what I saw?
No, I think that was me.
Oh, right on. No, he's probably doing coffee. It takes him forever to make coffee.
Oh yeah, no. Man, there's some man, some revoking consent stuff I'm gonna go into.
Well, before you
that-
get into that too much, we're going to have people here on YouTube that didn't get a chance to tune in over on TFR. So
Uh-huh.
while we're waiting for Walter, can you just kind of sum up a quick summary maybe of the stuff that we covered over there? Just a quick introduction of who you are, where you came from, and how you got here.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Damascus Eternali. I guess if you want, you can call me an Ascension ambassador, which we all are that, just some of us don't know it yet. Light worker, Reiki master, QHHD facilitator, which is quantum healing hypnosis technique. Truther, just, getting the truth out, because we've been lied to so much for so long. We don't even know who or what we are, but that's starting to change. But anyway, I come from, this little town in Louisiana. Had an experience down there with your classical gray alien, if you will, which is just an interdimensional being. Had some experiences after that with some dreams and some stuff that happened with my son, with me and him. Just I came across. It was probably the first time I was on YouTube. Like when YouTube really just first started. I think I was 17, and I accidentally came across this documentary called Loose Change, and I watched it. And it was about how 9/11 was an inside job and stuff like that, and I was like, whoa, what the hell? And that kind of sparked it from there. Moving on, I'm 32 now. Yeah, just watching this crazy event unfold with all this, this Pizzagate stuff, and just, the Saturn moon matrix, if you know anything about that, because those energies, I know they're, flat, but, and that those, Saturn isn't a real planet, but it is an energy source. It's just like a star. It's just energy. That's what the stars are. Or actually, hell, we probably don't even know what the stars are. Anyway,
You were in the moon Saturn matrix.
Yeah, I had come across. It was weird because after I went vegan, we were talking about veganism, and after I went vegan, I everything just, it happened so fast. It was 10 years and 10 months. It just, everything just kind of piled on me, and I had to integrate all this new information in a very short amount of time. And because once I decided to go on the path, there was no way. I mean, once you see it, you can't not see it. It's how could you
I have returned. Oh, I'm sorry. I just
There he is.
Nah, I'm just going over some stuff we already went over, Walt, for the people who are just getting in here with us. But anyway, yeah. So all about getting the truth out there, and talked about vaccines before, but we were talking about revoking consent. So I think that's really what we want to get into to help us take our power back. And so we were talking about revoking consent, which is where you just start off. I started off with like, I revoke consent to anything that would want to hurt me. And it just kind of went from there. And then I found out about blood over intent, which is where where you write out your intent. It usually starts with, I intend to bring forth heaven on earth for the benefit of all, to exclude none. And it's as a selfless act. It's an act of love, of compassion. And you just prick your finger with the lancing device, just like if you have diabetes. It don't have to be nothing painful. And you just drop a couple drops of your blood over your intent. It's your divine currency. The elite, they use blood magic, but they use it differently. They steal it from unwilling participants, which is what they call adrenochrome and stuff. Now, we were talking about, now that Walt's back, I wanted to get into this. We were talking about the Georgia Guidestones.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an aerial view that you can see of the Georgia Guidestones.
I've seen this.
And there seems to be a blood stain on top of the Georgia Guidestones. Now,
I've seen that video, that drone footage.
Yeah, so the thing is the elite or the Illuminati, whatever you want to call them, we'll just say they from here on out. So when I say they, you know who I'm talking about. They use blood magic too. And so what they do is, so let's say the Georgia Guidestones was an intent, okay, 500 million. That's what they want to control. That's what they say is easiest to control, right? So that's why people get Agenda 21 from the chemtrails and stuff. And so, I'll jump back into the chemtrails here in a second, because I know I blew your mind with that, Walt. Put a new perspective on it. But
you truly did.
Yeah, it's crazy, because if we really are creating all of this by them telling us what it is, and us being afraid of it, we're creating it for them. They don't have to do shit. They don't have to do nothing. That's how powerful we are. So why not turn poison into the elixir? Turn poison into the medicine, right? So instead of sitting here saying, oh, they're spraying us with barium and aluminum and blah, oh, look, they're spraying love energy on us, and create that instead. Because again, it goes back to the Lush energy, how they're wanting to harvest our Lush energy, keep us in fear. Well, how do they keep us in fear? They feed us lies. And so when they feed us lies, like they're spraying us with barium and all this Monsanto stuff and GMOs, and they're feeding all of that fear propaganda to us, and we're creating it for them. It's crazy. That's how mind effed we are. And they got us thinking that we're helpless and we need something outside of ourselves to save ourselves. And really, we just gotta stop and say, hey, I'm a sovereign divine being of eternal whatever. I don't have to live by these stupid notions anymore. It's so much bigger than that, and so. And then I've seen the freaking the trails being sprayed, but there's no plane. I've seen planes flying sideways. I stare at the sky a lot during the day, at night. I'm constantly staring at the sky. I've seen planes flying sideways. I've seen the trails popping up out of nowhere with nothing creating it. So For me, I think
I've
it's
seen
just
it too, man. It's
and think,
crazy
but
when
think
you see
about
it just going across the sky, and you pull out your binoculars, and it's like, okay, where in the flip is that plane? There's no plane.
Right.
What the hell?
Now think about this. Look at the aurora borealis, which is heart energy, because your heart chakra is green, by the way. The aurora borealis, the center, the axis mundi of the flat Earth. That's where the green heart energy comes from, right? So the aurora borealis is green, right? Alice in Wonderland, aurora borealis. They tell us all the time. They know this. The princess Aurora from Sleeping Beauty, she woke up after she ate a poisonous apple. They're telling us. It's so funny. They tell us in movies and stuff. They're not hiding it from us. It's so funny. You just got to know where to look and what you're looking for, because it's so perfectly laid out. But yeah, so your heart energy, right, is green. The aurora borealis is green. And if you look at chemtrails, right, they really do resemble the aurora borealis. After they spray them and they spread out, after it originally gets sprayed and it spreads out, look at it real good. When it starts to kind of spread out, it kind of think of it, kind of look at it and kind of turn it green in your head. It looks just like the aurora borealis.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see that, but I also, I don't know. It's the whole what we've seen surrounding this. You know, I mean, I don't know. Oh.
I know, it's crazy, man. Trust me, I've been there.
And blood particles and barium and.
But who's taking those barium tests?
Well, these are people
scientists.
like. Well,
scientists.
These are people who are supposedly trying to figure out what's really going on, not their side, our side, if you want to call it that.
So even the organic portals, even they can appear to be on our side. They can, you know. It's like, okay, if you go, it has a lot to do with indoctrination.
1 second, sir. For everybody who's now joining us, I see in chat, hello to everybody. I don't want to start trying to go back through because I'll get lost. Just so you know what's going on, you're not time slipping and it's already suddenly Friday afternoon. No, we've decided to continue our show, Ironworx, over here with Damascus Eternali, who was here with us on Have No Sphere a week ago. So this is just like a big inception that we're in here. So now, everybody in chat that now is here is caught up. I'm sure you guys said that earlier, but there's some new people in chat. Hello, new people. Hello, old people. Hello, people. All right, I'll stop now.
People. I love people. Yeah, it's crazy because when you're seeing that. Okay, another thing that I seen when I was sun gazing one time is I watched a plane fly through the sun. That was crazy. There was like ripples in the sun, like it was water.
Yes, sir. I've seen video of it. I haven't seen that. I've seen video of it. And now that you're saying it, I can trust it. And I've also watched the sun go through a clouds and pull vapors behind it. I've seen that. I've got it somewhere on one of my videos on my channel.
Oh yeah, the sun is so close, man. It's probably like, I don't know, maybe 50,000 feet altitude, cruising altitude for a plane.
I don't even think it stays at an altitude. I don't think it's that kind of thing at all. If there's an object, it might be the moon. And I don't even know. I don't know.
You know what's funny?
I don't know. I'm just seeing things that are touching clouds and like yesterday's sunset here in South Louisiana. I don't know about the rest of the world, but we had like horrible weather apparently. And the sunset looked like Like the sun was 5 times the size it normally is. It was insane. Where we were coming home from, I really couldn't see it well. A lot of trees and signs, and we couldn't really stop on the interstate, the 4-lane, on the way home to video or see any good. Just no way to capture what was happening. And the rays were like, you could see it pushing the clouds above it. It wasn't just beams. It was like pushing the vapor. I don't know. There's crazy shit happening with the sun right now, for damn sure.
Remember that video that we showed on last week on the show? Right, that video that I sent you, that
Absolutely.
I took.
It could be right here for Josh to show again if Josh.
Yeah, I could probably find
There was a photo that I came across online. It's so funny because it was on a post talking about, it was on an article talking about plasma energy coming from the sun. That's what's upgrading our DNA and stuff. And that picture, which was taken not even on the same day, not in the same state, the picture of the sun, the light coming through the clouds that she took, and I screenshotted the picture, so I have the picture. I can get it over to you. Looks just like the light from the sun in my video. Almost identical. It's crazy. I was looking at it and I'm like, holy crap, what the hell? So I'll get that over to you and then you can see it. But the sun, what's funny is on the heliocentric model, the sun during winter is closer to Earth than it is during summer. And I was trying to figure that the fuck out. When the sun's closer, shouldn't it be hotter?
That magic tilt of 6.6, I mean 66.6. But, that's just math and logic.
Yeah, it's gravity. It's all gravity, Walt.
And I'm trying to share and doing all kind of stuff here, so if I get distracted for a minute, give me a second.
Nah, you're all good, brother. Yeah, so it's let's get a big round of applause for Oakland, California, and Colorado for decriminalizing psilocybin. They decriminalized ayahuasca. They decriminalized peyote.
Yes.
Nice.
I can do a round of applause.
Yep. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I think the video you shared was maybe in the other chat, in our Zoom chat from last week.
It's not easily accessible. I thought it might be in the Telegram or.
I don't remember it being shared in Telegram, but I can check. I thought it was all shared in the Skype.
No, because he sent it to me in Telegram, so I know I sent it from there. I can send it to you in Telegram. Hang on.
I'll pull Telegram back up.
Yeah, so I'm gonna touch back onto the blood over intent, because that's a big thing of revoking consent and taking our power back. Especially when we're talking about the Georgia Guidestones, how it looks like there was blood spilt on the top of it. So when it comes to blood magic, right, they use it, but like I said, they steal it. And when we use it for divine love purposes, because your blood is your currency. And that's what the mother goddess Sophia wants to see proof of life, right? And so what Sophia is just a representation of the divine feminine energy, which is what's arising on Earth as we speak. That's why the Schumann resonance is going off, is because the divine feminine has returned to balance out the divine masculine. And as a matter of fact, even males, our energy is based in 75% divine feminine and 25% masculine. So even males aren't full masculine. And we've been, just look at our society. Our society is a male masculine based society, but that's why these divine feminine energies are starting to come in, because it's time, and this has all been written down, ancient texts and stuff like that. So it's all coming to play, and religion's starting to go down. Look at all the, oh my gosh, the third highest ranking Vatican official arrested for soliciting child porn, having sex with children, and people say Pizzagate's not real. It's ridiculous. Did you know that the UN in 2017 they found out that the Vatican, inside of their bylaws and their stuff, they had it in there that it was okay to touch children and have sex with children. It was literally in their quote unquote handbook, and the UN told them, you either figure this out or we're going to come down on you. So now all these arrests are starting to happen. In the same week, another pope was arrested for like 100,000 child pornography videos on his laptop. We just had that guy arrested. He was I can't remember his name, but he was also soliciting child pornography. He was a politician, I think. I'd have to look at the article again. But so there's all these arrests going down, and it's just showing, I don't know, it's crazy. That thing, and it's just showing that things are changing, and they can't keep doing this anymore. Can't keep going, But they
Absolutely. I'm sorry. I got the video over to you on Telegram, Josh. I think I saw that you got it just before we get too far from it to even be pertinent. Something else. What was I going to say? Damn it.
No, I did play it. I'll play it again. I forgot I had it saved.
Oh, I didn't know you had played it. I'm completely lost.
Yeah. Well,
I had way too, it's show day, and I always have too many tabs open on show day.
Hey, real quick. Well, I'm going to go over some synchronicities with you, because you during the show, when we first started the show, you talked about the guy who passed away, the New Orleans legend.
Mm-hmm. Dr. John. Yes, sir.
Yep. So check this out. You said he died at 77.
Yes, he did. Okay. That's what they'll tell us.
7 is the graduation number. So when you see 77 or 777, that's the graduation number. It's funny because the other day I was playing a game, and the score I ended up getting was 144,777. And I'm looking at it and I'm just like laughing my ass off, and I'm like, okay, so the 144,000 are graduating. Oh, it's so great, because it's the Christ consciousness that's rising in all of us. You can feel it. Everyone's so tired. No one wants to fucking go to work anymore. No one wants to work for people anymore. We all want to be creative and do our own thing.
Indeed, and I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to hang out with chat a little bit more than I have to get to in the show, and on Fridays when we're.
It's all good, bro. I'm
just giving Karen B a hard time in chat because she wants to do more. What the hell?
Do you see that?
You do it all, lady.
Do you see the light of the sun right there? That's plasma energy, is what I'm being told, because that. And then, Walt, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what that little round thing is over there at the top of the sun.
That hard edge. At one point, I thought it was the cloud edge, and then I'm like, I don't know, because when you look at it,
it looks like a disc. It looks like
a lensing, but then it's a hard edge. Yeah, it's really not something you see often in the clouds.
Right, because you could see the sun is totally a little bit down and to the right of that little bulge coming out of the cloud right there. It's very interesting. But you see, it was kind of chemtraily. You see how the sky kind of looks like Aurora Borealis a little bit.
Right. Okay, so you were that's what you broke my brain with at the end of Ironworx, which led us to coming over here, is the fact that, I mean, what are you saying? Chemtrails are good for us? Is that what basically you're fucking saying? That's insane. You know that's insane,
Well,
right?
Absolutely. Flat Earth was insane too, wasn't it?
Touche.
Hasn't everything we've been told been a complete fucking lie anyway?
But they're telling us that, chemtrails are fake. That's jet exhaust. That's blah 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 blah. So this is the ultimate inverted mind fuckery. Is that? I mean, it's all mind fuckery. I get that. That's just like this whole knee jerk reaction to the blood stuff, or the knee jerk reaction to flat Earth, or any other knee fucking jerk that you jerk.
Here's the thing: create
it's so
fear.
hard to get past the fear and the indoctrination and the fucking programming and the words and the spells and
Yep. Create fear, create loose energy. That's their supply. We want to cut them off from that supply. And all we have to do is choose love, compassion over all. Because truth is, fear is just an illusion. This isn't literally the physical reality that we live in is literally, and I know you already know this, but I know there's a lot of people out there who don't. This is the lowest vibrational energy there is. Everything in the spiritual world drips down to the physical. So we're not physical beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience. We are, quote unquote, this is a dream, dude. Life is a dream. Life is a dream. We're literally sleeping in Hyperborea right now. Either on some type of VR headset, some type of ayahuasca experience that we're going through as a collective. It's crazy, man. This whole experience is like a big ayahuasca purge. This whole 3D life. None of this is real. None of it. It's all put here for us to learn lessons. And we're learning all this through QHHT. Just look at Dolores Cannon's work. She talks about this. All the stuff that the subconscious or the higher self, same thing, that we hear during QHHT sessions, the information that's given to us by the higher self is absolutely astounding. And that's why I love QHHT.
You were talking about, I'm sorry, you were talking about synchronicities and how we keep having them since you and I have kind of been hanging out this last week and a half or two. I haven't mentioned, thought about, read any of her stuff in, probably since I was at the casino when I was dealing blackjack. And when you said that name, it brought back so much. Is that books I let you borrow, or is this something you've just come across since you've been on this?
Nah, man. This is something I just came across on this journey.
I thought it was, because I don't remember. I mean, I think I had already I wasn't even looking at past life or any of that by that point. Her stuff I had been into really big time for a while. David Moore, no, what was his name? The guy that, I'll have to find it. Anyway, yeah, go ahead. But yeah, it's just interesting that you found her, and this was like years ago. You can see it, casino days, it's that far back. So,
wow, that's crazy, because I was a kid hanging out with Blaine whenever you were working at the casino. I remember I remember going chill with Blaine, and we all had to be quiet because you were sleeping because you were working nights.
Yeah, had all the tinfoil windows and all that.
Yeah,
and yeah, that's crazy.
That's how far we go back, bro.
That's how far we've been knowing each other. Yeah.
But yeah, man. Let's see, where were we? Oh yeah, so dang it, where were we, Walt?
The Dolores Cannon stuff. That whole stuff. Yeah, that's what got me. Because again, the synchronicity of it. Just I wanted to mention it during Ironworx, and we got sidetracked. You've got so many different things going, then my brain breaks every 2 or 3 sentences. So go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not sorry. I apologize.
And part of this is, I mean, and part of this is what you just said about it being the life of you and I knowing each other since you being a kid, and now this man that has not just, yeah, I mean, whatever. It's hard to explain. It's just different hearing someone, you know, that these changes have been wrought by this knowledge that we've been trying to figure out on our way through this path. God, I'm rambling.
No, you're golden, brother. You're absolutely right. And here's the thing. A lot of the stuff that I awoke into on this path is thanks to you, and man, I sure appreciate you for that. You know, turning me on to information and just the conversations we've had and still have, and it's just it's like growing up with a brother, you know. So it's been
Exactly
amazing.
a brother for sure, in the truest blood sense of the word.
Yeah.
Just by proximity, the blood was transferred, I guess.
So this is how I got into QHHT. I came across this lady, Allison Coe. She's a QHHT facilitator in Oregon, Portland, Oregon, to be exact. And she started posting videos on YouTube about this thing called the event. And what these people are saying during these QHHT sessions is they started, it's supposed to be a past life regression. Some people started going into future of this life that they're in right now. And they were seeing this event unfold that's that's taking place between 2018 and 2020. Whenever we go into the year 2020, we'll be seeing with 2020 vision. Okay, so this event, which is happening, we're in it right now. Look at the skies. There's a YouTube channel called My Skies 5D. Go check that out. There's a lot of crazy stuff that he's posting, that he's catching on his camera in the skies. It's really awesome stuff. High vibe stuff. You notice the purple sky sets? You know how the sky gets all purple?
That was part of what was happening yesterday with the sunset. Is that effect? And then the sun was like 5 times its normal sunset size. Oops.
That's because purple is the highest vibrational frequency in color.
What was that channel? Say it again. I was going to type, and then my video started playing. And
My Skies 5D.
Cool. I'm going to share that with everybody.
Yeah, that's a good channel. You can see these clouds just are doing this stuff that's like wow. And this guy's like flat Earth and stuff. So he's pretty woke.
Dragon on his channel as his.
Yeah.
I found it. Yeah, Portland. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so then I started hearing about this this event and how everyth's starting to unfold, and I'm like, wait, I've been having these ideas. I've been thinking this, and I'm like, holy shit, I've been seeing this, and it really opened me up to this spiritual evolution, this evolution that we're going on, that's going to happen soon. The shift is upon us. Look at the poles. The pole is already starting to kind of shift, which means the poles aren't going to actually flip. It's energy. It's not the actual pole shifting.
I had shared a story
shift
in our pile some weeks ago about the actual shifting going on with the magnetic field, which kind of was tying into what we've been dealing with the sky and trying to figure out with Cammie Nodell, and which, hello Cammie, wherever you are out there. We need to get all that going again because the pieces are coming from every direction. But anyway.
Yeah. Whenever spirit starts screaming at you, run with it, bro.
Oh, for sure. She, she's been, I'm sure that's what she's been doing. She's been on an adventure, I believe, with a good friend of ours in chat right now.
That's the truth behind the pole shift. You were right on it, Walt. The truth about the pole shift is that the magnetic energy is going to shift from a negative to a positive polarity. And the ebb and flow of time is going to disappear because time is just an illusion anyway. Notice how time, bro, it's crazy. We'll go cook something in the oven for like 20 minutes. We'll put it in the oven. We'll sit down. It'll beep, and me and Catalyst will look at each other and start laughing because it's like, we just put that in the fucking oven and it's beeping now. It's crazy. Time is just accelerating so fast.
James True is here. Like I said, man, you definitely need to go check him and his show with us and all his stuff. He was talking about the flow. Excuse me, the flow. Like when you're in that creative state, and how it seems like a lot of, that's how the rich, elite, et cetera, can operate because they have access. Blah 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 blah. But what's this? I think that's part of what's going on too with this whole time dilation, speeding up. It's us as we're changing our frequency, changing our energy, waking up to all the things around us, and we are accessing that flow. And like you say, suddenly it's 2 hours later, and it's like, oh shit, where have I been? What have I been doing? And it's been the video's done, or I've written that riff, or whatever on the show, or for sure, it's happening.
It's crazy, man. And just like thinking about the journey that I've been through. Like I went vegan. I was 315 pounds. I'm now 175 pounds. I just feel amazing. And then when I first went vegan, all this stuff started coming to me, just like the Saturn Moon Matrix, and then it was like right when I got into Flat Earth, right when I was starting to wake up to Flat Earth, I came across the Saturn Moon Matrix, which was talking a lot about the physical planet Saturn. And so I kind of got confused. And I was like, oh, this is all BS. But then I started realizing that it's all energies, and that's when I got into energy, and I started realizing that none of this is physical, none of it. It's just being made it's all an illusion that this is physical. And so we're moving into next time you're outside in the sun, check it out. Put your hands into the sun and look at your skin. It'll look all crystally. And then go wash your hands. If you think there's glitter on your hands, go wash your hands and then look at your hands again. We're turning into we're morphing into a crystalline based body. We're not going to be this super dense physical body anymore. We're moving into a lighter, energetic, crystalline base body, which is what our true body is anyway. That's what we already are. So just look at your hands in the sun. You'll see the crystals. It's all over my legs, my arms, my face. It's crazy. It's crazy because it's just, yeah, it's wild, man. And it's only going to get I think it's only going to get a bit wilder from here.
I will say I've never heard this transitioning into this crystalline being before. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Especially when you tie it to what you were talking about, Josh, how our pineal seems to be crystallizing and becoming a frequency emitter. I mean, resonator, I guess. Hey guys, I have to do something. It'll take me about 10, maybe 15 minutes. Can you hold down the fort while I'm gone?
I have a feeling he's going to be able to just go. Yeah.
I thought you could. All right. I love you guys. I'll be right back.
All right.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Yeah. So the crystalline base body, Josh, is what we're moving into. And it took me, I mean, I'm one of the skeptics that, I mean, when I first got into Reiki, I was super skeptical, and then I felt the energy, and then I had an experience where I heard I was channeling information from an outside. I was hearing a voice, if you will, but that's not, they want you to say, oh, that's crazy. Go take medicine. Go take medicine for that. This is our natural gifts. that our presence, if you will. You know, and so I just started getting messages, and I was being guided to look at certain things and just really change my perspective on what I felt was real and what I felt was illusion. And when I started coming across the Ascension stuff with Allison Coe, who's a QHHT facilitator. She was also trained by Dolores Cannon, like I was. And she's doing these sessions with these people, and they're talking about I'm in my perfect body, all because when you're doing this hypnotized session, you can actually feel stuff and taste stuff and hear stuff, and it's crazy because I've experienced this, so I know it's legit. I've experienced the session already. So whenever all this information starts coming in, and then you start seeing all the and then you hear the stuff from old back in the day, like the ancient stuff talking about this is what we used to be. So like the pineal gland has DMT in it, dimethyltryptamine. So do you know about the Christ consciousness?
Hold on, I'm gonna. Oh, I can't mute Walter for some reason. He has left his microphone unmuted, and his neighbor likes to rev his engines in the morning for some reason. So we might be catching a little bit of that on the backside. I'm vaguely aware of this idea of the Christ consciousness, but clue me in a little more.
Okay. So back in the day, the ancients called this oil that is actually secreted out of the brain into the spinal cord, into your spinal system. They called it the Christos oil. And this oil would be released from the I want to say the thalamus into the spinal cord, and it travels all the way down your spinal cord. Then it reaches the sacral, which is your lowest chakra, your red chakra, and it gets mixed there. Now, either you ejaculate and it doesn't go back up, or this oil, which is also semen, starts its journey back up the spinal cord. And this is, you have to be aware of it. It's a practice that you have to do. But this is also called your kundalini. It's also called your kundalini. So it's the same thing, but it's just a different way of saying, it's just a different interpretation. But we're going to go with Christ consciousness because that's what we're talking about.
So then would it be safe to say there's a distinct difference between a male Christ consciousness and a female Christ consciousness?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. There is it runs through the body different for females than it does for males. The females still have a sacred oil, but it's not. It's different than our sacred oil, than the divine male, the masculine. But there are similar. There's some similarities, but it's absolutely, it's different. So as you're working, and the thing about this practice is you have to be vegan. All the practices talk about it. If you're eating animals, it cuts off. It cuts it off. You can't practice it. If you watch too much television, it'll cut it off. It'll the frequencies and the stuff, it'll stop it. It'll kill it, if you will. So what's crazy about it is, as it's coming back up, it hits this area. When it comes back up from your sacral, your sexual area, it stops in your solar plexus, according to the ancients, and they called that area Bethlehem. Well, the oil gets changed in Bethlehem again. It gets changed in Bethlehem. It gets what they call it born. It gets reborn in Bethlehem. So they say Jesus was born, Christ was born in Bethlehem, right? So it makes so this oil makes its way up the 33 vertebrae of your spine. We have 33 vertebrae in our spine, right? When it hits the 33rd vertebrae, the ancients called it crucified. It gets crucified. And when it becomes crucified, it becomes 1,000 times stronger than it was before. Now, what's interesting about that is your crown chakra, which is purple, has 1,000 petals on it. 1,000 petals. It's the strongest of it all. So Christ died at age 33. He was crucified at 33 years old. There's 33 vertebrae in our spine that the Christos oil goes up and enters back into the brain after it's crucified, and it lies dormant for 3 days. And this has all been talked about a lot through history. That's why it's in religion so much. So 3 days it lies dormant. On the third day, the Christos oil, which has been changed and crucified and made a lot stronger, it re-enters the pineal gland, and then you become resurrected. They say that's your resurrection. All your blood gets completely cleaned and replaced. Your divine order is restored to you, and you know who you are, where you originally came from. You know all your history. Literally, it's like tapping into your Akashic records. So that's the Christos oil. They also called it the claustrum. So Santa Claus comes down the chimney, leaves presents, goes back up the chimney. Right? It's the same story. The Christos oil, which is also known as the claustrum, so claws, comes down the chimney, your spine, leaves its presence, and returns back up. And then after it's done, it goes to the North Pole. The North, you could consider that your head, but it's also bringing it back to 0 point, which is the green heart energy. So that's what the Christos oil is. And so whenever you do this, you unlock your Christ consciousness, which is all knowing, everything. It's what Jesus Christ was. How he could walk on water, how he could make bread appear out of nowhere, how he could bring the dead back to life, make people see, heal people's sight. That's the Christ. That's what we are all capable of. So, and then they just used a personification. They just took a guy. Now, I'm not saying Jesus wasn't a real person who never walked the earth. I'm not saying that at all. Very well, possibly could have been a guy who was born and just so happened was born and was supposed to be a way shower. So his Christ consciousness, he was born with it activated. I'm not saying that's not a possibility. But what I'm saying is Jesus Christ is not a savior. He's not. You are your own savior. You have to save yourself. No one's going to do it for you. You have to save yourself. You have to take your power back. We have to stop relying on outside sources to do what we can do from the inside ourselves. And that's what this journey is all about for everyone. That's what we're all learning right now. That's why all these religious propaganda stuff is starting to wear off. That's why you're seeing all these priests and pastors and reverends being arrested for sexual molestation and stuff like that. It's all crumbling in front of us in real time. We're witnessing it. It's a great time to be alive right now. Amazing times. So, one thing I heard is someone said, yeah, all this negative stuff is happening, but be glad that you're seeing it. Because that means we're purging it out of ourselves, because everything's on the inside anyway. So as long as we're seeing these negative things happen, we're purging it out and it's going away, because first of all, they don't have any time. There's like a mass shooting. I'm instantly like, okay, false flag. And I think a lot of people are these days too.
Yep.
You know, so they can't even fool us anymore. Like I said on the other channel, like I said on the other show we were doing right before we switched over here, flat Earth is kicking so much ass. NASA had to extend the atmosphere over 200,000 miles to incorporate the moon within the atmosphere. Oh, sorry, looks like the moon is within the atmosphere. That's what I like to call soft disclosure, partial disclosure. They're saying, oh yeah, the moon is in the atmosphere, but it's still so far out, which we know is not the case.
It's also in space. It is in space, but also in our atmosphere, because space starts in our atmosphere, so it's both. Just some Orwellian doublespeak. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they'll do anything to keep their lie going. It's crazy. It's so crazy. But you know that so yeah, that's what Christ consciousness is, and Sophia is the divine feminine aspect of the Christ consciousness. So you'll hear a lot of people say the Christ Sophia consciousness or the Sophia Christ consciousness. So yeah, same thing with Buddha. You know, Buddha was trying to teach us how to be. He wasn't trying to teach us to worship him. You know, he was showing, hey, this is what you can do. You know, and it just takes a little bit of love and a little bit of compassion. And all these people were vegan, you know, again, and this is for the people who weren't listening before. You know, people always say, well, Jesus ate fish. That's not true. The story of Jesus, he was an Essene fruitarian, so he only ate plants that didn't kill the plant if you ate it. So like lettuce, like you can peel lettuce off of the plant. All fruits, certain plants that if you ate it, it didn't kill the entire plant. You have to let the whole plant live its entire life out. That's an Essene fruitarian. That's an Essene. So Jesus was an Essene. That's what he was. He didn't eat fish. He was depicted as fish because Pisces, which is the age that we're in, we're now in the age of Aquarius. Pisces, the age of Pisces, is depicted as two fish. Duality. That's what Pisces is, duality, the two fish, good and evil, yin and yang. Aquarius is the guy pouring the waters from above into the waters below, bringing us back to unity. So we're exiting that lower level consciousness, the duality based, scarcity, dog eat dog based society, into the age of Aquarius, where it's going to be more unified, more creative for everyone. Everything is going to be free, as it should be. There's no reason for us to have to pay to live. It's redundant.
This is fascinating, because this idea of being in paradise, learning about duality, being ejected from paradise, only to then realize again that things are not dualistic, but we are all one, and being brought back into paradise. That's kind of crazy.
Right. I'm gonna throw this at you, because this is how I like to say it. Like in this movement, a lot of people think that you know, when I'm talking to people about that we're all one, you know, they're like, oh, so what? We're just all gonna collide and become one body? No, we're all one individually. Okay, so think of a diamond. You know how a diamond has faucets?
Yep.
Right. You're the diamond, and right now we're experiencing all of these different faucets of lives at the same time, because everything's happening right now. That time is non-existent. We're experiencing linear time in this 3D fake matrix. So what that means is, outside of the 3D matrix, time doesn't exist. Everything is happening right now. So in Reiki, we use a symbol called Hanshaze Shonin, which means every time is now, every place is here, and everyone is me. So it's really great. So I use that symbol a lot when I'm doing distant sessions, when I'm not doing a hands-on session. It's really amazing stuff, really powerful magic. So basically what we're experiencing with time is it's just linear, and we're experiencing everything that's happening now, but we're just seeing it in a different picture.
Hmm.
So when we get out of the 3D duality, the Pisces, the two fish, and we make the waters from above meet the waters below, what we're doing is we're actually collapsing our lower chakras into the heart center and the higher chakras into the heart center. And when that happens, you create the tetrahedron, I think is what it's called, which is the will inside of the will, right? What Ezekiel saw, and he saw the beings flying from the thing. They're talking about the Merkaba, which is your that's your energy. That's your Merkaba is your vessel for time traveling. So whenever our Merkaba activates, your lower chakras are going to meet into the heart, and then your upper chakras are going to collapse down to the heart as well. And that's what they mean by unity. That's my interpretation of it. We're not going to all collide into one being. We're all going to merge our separate faucets into one singular and be whole again. But we're always energetically connected, but we're our own universe, if that makes sense. So, and it's crazy because we're not taught any of this, none of this stuff. Like, men don't even know the truth about their penis. It's crazy. And medically, it's just ridiculous. Because if people knew the truth about the penis, there would be no circumcision. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my son was. I don't think that were I to ever have another child, a son, I would circumcise the next. Yeah, it's definitely a traumatic experience. I actually asked the doctor if I could go watch. I was curious to see how they did it. I never even thought twice about not doing it. But man,
Yeah.
just the sick and twisted nature of it, and just what that would obviously do to a newborn child's psyche. It's heartbreaking.
It is. And I mean, there's so many nerve endings in the foreskin, and it actually keeps the penis moist, and there's just so many benefits to it. And then get this, right? You pay a doctor to torture your child, right? Unknowingly, of course. Then they take the foreskin. You ready for this? This is what really threw it overboard for me. They sell your baby's foreskin for up to $100,000 to the highest bidding, cosmopolitan company, and they use it in face cream to put on your face. It's disgusting. That's the ritual. That is a satanic ritual if I ever heard one. You know.
Huh. I'd never heard that. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then so you suffered, right? Because I was circumcised, so I suffered some type of traumatic, that traumatic incident, and then they sell it, and I don't even get any money. That's messed up.
Not only that, but it then cost your mom and dad. Not only do you not get money, you have to give money just to have it done. You pay for it to happen. That's
It's
insane.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And all you have to do, parents are so afraid to take care of a intact baby. But all you have to do is nothing. A lot of mistake parents make is they retract the foreskin before it's time. When you do that, you cause a wound, and so that's where the infection comes in. My son is my 5-year-old is uncircumcised, and he's 5 now, but he started retracting it on his own. We never touched it. The only time it got touched when he was a baby is when he was getting a bath. And all you do is just like you would clean it if it was circumcised, you just clean it. You don't retract the skin. You don't have to go in there and do anything. It's all put together that way for a reason. And, parents get a little weird about it, and they'll retract the foreskin. Or a big thing is you'll take your kid to the pediatrician, and then the pediatrician will fucking do it. They'll retract the foreskin. It's like, wait, what the fuck are you doing? You're gonna cause a wound. So even the pediatricians don't know. Even they don't know how to take care of an intact a baby. So it's crazy.
It really is when you think about it, how hands off the birthing process really kind of is. And just leaving the umbilical cord and learning to leave the penis alone and just learning to leave these things alone until nature takes its course.
Yep. It's like as soon as the baby's born, right? They clamp the cord instantly and cut it. Well, what they just done was the baby's in the process of cycling its blood through the placenta, which is connected to the baby's belly button through the umbilical cord. So what you just done, when the doctor clamps it too soon, the baby just lost over 60% of its blood. So now the baby's heart has to work extra to create new blood on top of just being vaccinated, on top of all this other stuff. And it's just a cruel way to be born into the world. So if anyone out there who knows of anyone who's pregnant, or if you are pregnant or your spouse is pregnant or whatever, look into delayed cord clamping. Allow the blood to be pumped back through the umbilical cord into the baby, because once the baby's born, everything stops. It gets the blood back to the baby, and then it stops. The baby's blood starts circulating through its body, doesn't have to go through the placenta anymore. So even just 5 minutes of delaying the cord clamping really helps the baby a lot. If you can do hours, really, you should just have your baby at home.
Right.
Just stay away from the freaking hospital. Hospitals cause 500,000 deaths per year.
Yep. And the hospitals are going to want to give the vaccines. And the hospitals are going to want to give the social security numbers. And it's the hospital that is going to start to initiate the system of control from the very beginning. And then we just sort of live then under that umbrella. Unless, of course, we can learn to not understand it, which is not an easy thing to do.
Absolutely.
Want to give a quick shout out to everybody in chat. I see there's a bunch of you in there. I am completely hands off. I am just enthralled with our guest from this morning on the Ironworx over on Truth Frequency Radio, Damascus Eternali, a very good friend of Walt's for 25, 30 years, he said. So these guys are great friends. I am getting to know him. He is probably a very good friend from another life. Again, it definitely feels like a good fit there on the Ironworx. He's fit right in. It's been an awesome show so far. So much, in fact, that we had to carry it right on over. But we so excited for the show this morning. Damascus did not even go to bed. He stayed up all night long just to hang out with us this morning. So I will probably end it here. Walt's not back yet. I want to let Damascus go and get some sleep. So, Damascus, you have yourself a great rest of your day. Get some sleep. Tell the family hello. We love them. And thank you so much for hanging out today.
Hey, thanks, man. It was it was awesome hanging out with you guys, talking, and I really appreciate you guys having me on the show. So thank you so much.
Yeah, anytime you want to come on, anytime you want to just hang out and bullshit, just give us a buzz, give us a ring, drop us a line. Tell Walt. We'll make it happen. It's good stuff. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Sounds good, man. You guys have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys later.
All right. Sounds good, Damascus. Have a great day. Well, I suppose that ought to wrap it up. Walt, I don't suppose, is back yet. I think he was probably busy doing post-production from the Ironworx. Or he's playing Uber. He may be transporting people around this morning, helping people get ready for work. Who knows? But since I don't really have anything left, but spend a little bit of time with my wife before she heads to work, since I am now unemployed, which I'll probably get into a little bit this afternoon over there on Have No Sphere at 10 p.m. on Greenwich Mean Time, or p.m. Central, right here on our YouTube channel, because that's a pretty good story. I just wrapped it up on Tuesday, said thank you very much, have a nice whatever. Anyway,
here's a message of
I'll see you all
to millions of
here in
people
about
who are
10
continually
hours,
pale and washed out, weak and
9 hours,
run
something like
down.
that. Love you guys.
Doctors will tell
Bye-bye.
you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of iron. The iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires, in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are awake, we are aware, we are not alone. We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs,
We are awake, we are aware, we are not alone.
if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset,
We are striving for more.
start taking iron
Ironworx Media.
today.